Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama, and this is going to be Winning with Ease ZvT defending against the Hellion Banshee harass. So a lot of players, and this is not like a crazy timing all-in push or anything like that, but a lot of players were coming to me and they were saying, you know what, as a Zerg player, I'm just getting completely owned when my opponent goes for Banshees and Hellions because I just have nothing to defend against it whatsoever, or I have stuff to defend against it, but I'm running back and forth. And then he sneaks Hellions into my natural, then my main, burns all my drones, the Banshee takes out my third. I mean, there's just so many difficulties with this. And so I was like, alright, you know what, I'll go ahead and make a video just showing how to get through these basic early stages. So of course you can get on to the later stages in the game, get on into a decent part of the mid game, possibly, you know, whatever it is, wherever it is that you want to get, where you think you can win, of course. So really quickly, we do have the new subscriber shout out. Delord44, Antoine 1242, Serial Kicked, MPX 28, Michael, Leon J, Gecko 358, Bazel Zerg, RNO DVN, Sparud, TCI Brada, Namiri, I Grow Weed from a Seed, Deuce Starcraft, Tiger Blood, Chris, Suzumia Cham, and Ice Cold 2245. So thank you very much, guys, for subscribing to my channel. And here you say, oh, why are you scouting over here? Well, as I have said in all of my videos, this is where you will find a common 11-11 proxy, right? So if a Terran player is going to 11-11 you, he's going to go ahead and throw the barracks down over here. So most of the time, this is a very common place for that to happen. So I send my drone scout over there first, and then I will send it over to his base after that. And so, yada yada yada, I've got my hatchery down, and what's this? He's going for a command center first, as we can see, because there's no barracks. Command center's already up, it's 238, and it's already at like 400 health right here. That means it's command center first. Yeah. So, just very clear that it is. So, I'm actually going to go ahead and go for a 3 hatch before pool. As you can see, I send out my drone right here. I'm trying to just be as annoying as possible with this drone, just, you know, keep harassing the SCV right here, force him to go ahead and pull this SCV, and then, you know, when he halts production, just, you know, delaying as much as I can, being as annoying as possible. So now I'll go ahead and return home. I've got my 3 hatches up, and after this, I, of course, will just take my pool right after, so there won't be, you know, at 18 right here when I get my 200 minerals, I'll go ahead and throw a pool down. And I was going to put it there, but the reason that I like to put it out here is so that it is not in the way versus drops. And this is something that I think a lot of Zerg players need to think about, is where you position your buildings. These drones are just going to transfer, by the way, that's it. But where you position your buildings when you're playing certain races. So versus Zerg, you know what, I like to put my pool back here, because it gives a little less surface area for them to hit. It's a little harder for the lings to get over there. I can get more protection on it. Versus a Terran player, though, he's going to come in and start doing drops. So if I have a spawning pool here and I have an evolution chamber right here, he's going to drop his marines right into here, and all of a sudden I've created a little choke that it makes it very impossible for me to get him. Not only that, but it's easier to snipe when it's over here, because he can just drop, come in, snipe it, and then pick up and go. So I like to put it in places where all my links can come back, get us around, do all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting my queens, yada yada yada, and I know some of you are like, oh, but you know, a player will 1-rax FE me and then he'll go into Hellions and Banshees. Alright, yeah, so that'll hit a tiny bit later, but really it's not going to be too much of a factor, because either way, this is a great way to defend. You can defend like this in either scenario, whether or not you have a, because I wouldn't be going 3 hatch before pool if he was going for 1-rax FE. I mean, I could, but I generally don't do that, so instead I would just be going for a, I'd go for my 2 hatches and then I'd grab my 3rd hatch a little later, and then I would just, you know, wait and I'd still block it off, and I'll show you everything I'm going to be doing in this game, but I'd still just transition into getting over and getting defenses for my 3rd base in time. So either way, you should be completely fine. You just want to make sure that, you know, you're getting up the defenses necessary when you're 3rd base. If you go for 2 hatch and then add that 3rd hatch on at like 42, just come over here as soon as it pops, add a spine crawler and add a spore crawler. That's going to be huge for you. So here is what I am talking about for defense, right? This right here is going to be huge for defense. Notice also that I have a lot of larvae because I do have 3 hatches, and so in this instance I'm going to go ahead, and I'm also supply blocked, don't be supply blocked, Bad, Mr. Llama. But I'm going to go ahead and start spreading creep because I want to get creep to that third base so that I can start moving my queens there. That's one of the first important things. The second important thing is, hey, look at this. I've started a wall. And you're like, oh, but you don't have enough gas right now for that wall. Okay, you know what? That's completely fine. And the reasoning is because hellions are out now, right? And so because these hellions are out, I want to get this wall up. And with this queen right here, I instantly have a block. So now my main and my natural are completely protected from hellions. And over at my third base, I have 2 queens and a spine crawler. So 2 queens, what's that take out? A Banshee. What does this as well take out? Hellions. So it's just going to be great defense. He can't sneak by over here. It's really, really good. So here he's going to try and push up. Unfortunately, I think he loses 1 hellion before he kind of realizes it. So poor guy right there, going to lose a hellion. But in the meantime, I'm doing fine. I've gathered up some gases now, so now I can start transitioning into getting my upgrades here. So I'm going to start with some fast upgrades. Look at that. I'm already getting my 1-1 here at 8 minutes. And so that's completely fine. That'll be generally on pace with a Terran player, I'd say. And that's like a great timing to start getting your upgrades, and then you can grab your lair shortly after. But here is the other thing I want to note is, oh, we're getting spore crawlers now. 1 at each base, right? And this is simply going to be for that detection. I should probably get one up in my main. Right, okay, so I'd recommend getting a spore crawler up in your main. I was also a little oversaturated here, so I will move some of those over to my natural low later. But regardless, I felt pretty safe. And then, yeah, so a spore crawler in the main would be nice. Maybe have it over here, maybe, you know, just anywhere. You can have it even just sitting in your mineral line, because when it's in your mineral line, it will give detection to all, like, I can't box, all of, like, this area right here. Will get that. So now, as you can see, I'm trying to spread my creep. Okay, he's got a Banshee out, yada yada. I'm still spreading my creep. I have complete access to my third base. Now my queens can run freely back and forth. I have a queen to protect this wall. I have a queen for injects at all my bases, and an additional queen for chance uses, whatever. So here he's going to try and push up, go for the natural, and all of a sudden, oh, what's this? Well, he can't. And you know what? Just be careful with the lings right here, but this right here is a wall that he simply cannot get past. If he tries to run through, there's lings, there's queens, I can block it off, there's a spine crawler right there, and there's really not much that he can do. He could try and chase after some of these drones. I grab these guys, I think, and run them back. But regardless, I mean, I'm just in such a fine position. In the meantime, he's going to try and come back here, and he's going to be able to kill off just a couple of drones. But really, is that worth it? I don't think losing 4 hellions for 3 drones is ever going to be worth it. So no, right there, I just come out ahead, and that's because I have a spine crawler here. I have these 2 queens right here. I have these spores on either side. This is just extra precaution. You don't need that many. But just in case he was getting cloak or something like that, I decided to get it. I also have a lair, so I can morph an overseer. If for some reason he does go for cloak, I mean, this is such a quality defense right here. So difficult for any Terran. This is why Terrans get really, really annoyed because they're like, oh, you just go for mass queens and you can defend. And that's kind of true when you have great static defense as well, and great things like a wall, right? A wall and a queen, and all of a sudden 2 of your bases are off limits and he can't do anything else. So now I can just run out. I can snipe off his hellions right there, and once my spire finishes, you're wondering, like, why is your supply so low? Well, it's because I'm saving up for all these mutas, right? So I'm going to come over here now, try and do a little bit of damage, pick off some more hellions. I see he's taking a 3rd base here, so I can start looking to take a 4th base soon. And as well, this is why I like to build the 2nd spore crawler here, simply because now I can pick up the spore crawler and start to like move it down, and then start to move it over when I do take my 4th base, which should be happening fairly soon. So now I'm going to go ahead and start building up on my mutalisk, which I can then, of course, just go and be annoying with. And now it just transitions into the next part of the game, getting my 2-2 upgrades right here, so I'm well ahead on the upgrade count. He's only finishing up 1-1. He's going mech. But yeah, his 1-1's just finishing. I'm already about half an upgrade ahead. I've got a macro edge going down. I'm going to start taking my 4th base, moving the spore crawler down, getting the creep out there so I can have a little bit more defense on it. And this is pretty much just moving into the next stages of the game right here. And I mean, that's it. That is a very, very, very easy way to hold. Important things, get the creep moving, sacrifice a couple of larvae if you need, especially when you're going 3 hatch before pool. But if you're going for, you know, 1 Rax FE, whatever, then use one of those queens to just start a creep tumor immediately and start pushing it to the 3rd. And then, of course, having the wall, so important, because that, as you saw, was able to block him off. Having the 2 queens over here with the spine crawler, he tried to rush in and bum rush and kill off, you know, a bunch of drones at my 3rd. He was unable to do that successfully. And so now I was able to easily just ward off any damage right there, and move into the later stages of the game. So that's going to be it for this video. My name is Mr. Llama. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you